Sibling sabotaged my date. I exposed their motives. Okay, so this is going to sound like something straight out of a sitcom, but I promise you it's 100% real. I'm Ryan, 24, pretty average guy, work in IT, live in a small apartment, basically the textbook awkward but harmless. And until last week, my love life was non-existent. I'm talking zero action, zero prospects, zero anything. Then there's Sam Hayes, sweet, sarcastic, gorgeous, smart. Basically everything I secretly dreamed about but never thought I'd actually have a shot with. I've been crushing on Sam for months, and I don't mean the casual, I like her smile kind of crush. I mean the, I check her Instagram when I shouldn't, I memorize the way she laughs, I replay conversations in my head kind of crush. My best friend, Marcus, knows all about it, and naturally, he has been hell-bent on pushing me into the deep end. So one Thursday night, after what felt like the 100th pep talk from Marcus, I finally did it. I texted Sam, and not just some lame, hey, wanna hang out text. I spent 30 minutes drafting something thoughtful but casual. You know, the sweet spot between confident and not desperate. I sent it, and then I promptly nearly choked on my own saliva while staring at my phone. I felt like a soldier sending himself to battle. Her reply came faster than I expected. Hey Ryan, I'd love that. Friday night? Cue me doing a full victory dance in my apartment alone. Marcus high-fived me through the phone, which honestly was a little weird, but I didn't care. Friday night was going to be the start of something great, or so I thought. I had been planning this for days. Dinner at that little Italian place Sam had casually mentioned she liked, followed by a walk along the riverfront. I even overthought my outfit, went with a crisp blue button-down, clean jeans, shoes that aren't my usual sneakers, combed my hair for the first time in months. Basically, I looked like I was trying, but in a I'm naturally awesome way, if you ignore the sweat beads forming in my palms. The day of the date, I was buzzing. Marcus called me in the morning just to say, Ryan, today you're going to win at life. Don't screw it up. Thanks, Marcus. So helpful. I got a text from Sam in the afternoon confirming the time and everything seemed fine. Then I got another text a little before I was supposed to leave that made my stomach sink. It read, hey, sorry, I think we should cancel tonight. I'm confused about something. Maybe we can talk later. Confused? Talk later? My first thought, she's bailing. My second thought, did I do something wrong? My third thought, oh no, she thinks I'm a creep because I spent too much time thinking about her laugh. I called her immediately, no answer. Then I texted, no reply. My panic was reaching Olympic levels. I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff, except the cliff was my social life and it was crumbling under me. Then Marcus called. What happened, man? Did she ghost you? I don't know. She said something about being confused. I tried to keep my voice calm, but it sounded like a dying walrus. Confused about what? Did you say something weird? Did you text her, I want to marry you by accident? No, I didn't. I stopped myself before I admitted I maybe had spent a good 10 minutes the other day writing a text about how much I liked her smile. It wasn't sent, okay? But still. Marcus groaned. Ryan, something's off. You need to figure this out before you spiral. Check her messages, her social media, see if someone's messing with her. And that's when it hit me. Someone was messing with her. Because the next day, I bumped into Jenna, who lives with Sam at the local coffee shop. She looked a little hesitant, like she wasn't sure if she should tell me something. Ryan, did you notice anything weird with Sam yesterday? She asked. I leaned in. Weird? What do you mean? She got messages from your number, but they weren't from you. Really weird stuff, like telling her not to meet you, saying you were, I don't know, unavailable or something. I thought she was just confused, but then I saw Lily, my younger sister, the golden child of the Carter household, the one who smiles like sunshine but has a streak of mischief that makes every parent secretly favor her. What about Lily? I asked, heart pounding. She had Sam's number on her phone, texting from your account. I don't know. I didn't confront her, but I saw her doing it. She looked very proud of herself, actually. I blinked. I couldn't process it. My own sister, my little sister, had sabotaged my date. And the worst part? Lily thrives in these moments. She loves the chaos. Later that night, I confronted her. I walked into the living room where she was sitting, perfectly composed, scrolling through her phone like she had done nothing wrong. Lily, I said, trying to keep my voice steady, did you mess with my date yesterday? She looked up, smiled that infuriatingly sweet smile and said, what do you mean, Ryan? I didn't do anything. Her denial was as smooth as silk. I wanted to scream, but instead I just blinked at her. Ryan, she continued, maybe she just didn't want to go out. Sometimes people change their minds. I wanted to throw something. Instead, I left the room, trying not to let her see my frustration. I went straight to Marcus. Marcus, she did it. Lily sabotaged me. I know it, I said, pacing my apartment. Marcus groaned. I knew it. I told you something felt off. You need proof, man. You can't just accuse her. You'll look insane. I knew he was right. But at the same time, I couldn't shake this mix of betrayal and disbelief. My own sister, someone I trusted, had literally destroyed something I had been looking forward to for months. So yeah, that's where I am right now. Confused, frustrated, and honestly a little heartbroken. My date didn't happen. Sam probably thinks I'm flaky, and Lily is grinning somewhere, knowing she got under my skin. I didn't know what to do next. I couldn't just ignore it. If I did, she'd keep doing it. But confronting her without evidence, that could backfire spectacularly. So I decided I'd play it smart. I'd keep my cool, gather proof, and maybe, just maybe, make her regret ever messing with my life. Little did I know this was only the beginning. So after the whole my date was sabotaged by my sister disaster, I spent the next day in a haze of frustration, confusion, and just pure, unfiltered rage. And like every human being with a functioning brain, I immediately called Marcus. Dude, I started as soon as he picked up. I think Lily's out to get me. I know she did something with Sam's number. I don't know what to do. Marcus didn't even pause before answering. I told you, man, something's off with your sister. I've known that smile is too perfect to be genuine. She's a manipulator, Ryan. Always has been. I sighed. Yeah, but she's my sister. You don't think, I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. Nope, you're not overreacting. That's a full-on sabotage. She's jealous of you or something. She loves chaos. I tried to imagine my little sister, Lily, in full-on villain mode, and it was terrifying. Lily, 22, always cheerful, outgoing, everyone's favorite, the golden child. But somewhere under that glossy exterior, there's a part of her that clearly enjoys ruining my life. That night, things got even more uncomfortable when our family had dinner. Mom, Karen, insisted on cooking this massive 3-course meal, like everything was normal, while Dad, David, just sat there quietly, the ever-neutral parent who refuses to pick sides. Lily, of course, was her usual radiant self. She smiled at me as I sat down, all sunshine and innocence. Hey, Ryan, you look tired. Did your date cancel again? I froze. My fork hovered mid-air. How do you know about... I caught myself. I couldn't accuse her outright yet, not without proof. Oh, don't be so dramatic, Lily said, waving a hand like it was nothing. Maybe she just didn't feel like going out. Happens to everyone, right? Karen chimed in with her motherly tone. See, Ryan? Sometimes people change their minds. No need to be upset. Lily's right. I opened my mouth to defend myself, to hint that maybe Lily had something to do with it, but David cleared his throat and gave me a subtle look, like, don't start this tonight, son. I clenched my jaw. This was exactly what Lily wanted. She thrived on the chaos while everyone else stayed oblivious. After dinner, I escaped to my room, stewing in frustration. That's when Jenna texted me. Ryan, I just wanted to say Sam's a little put off. She thinks maybe you flaked on her. Not sure how to explain it. I stared at my phone. Of course she thinks I flaked. That's exactly what Lily wanted. She made it look like I was the unreliable one. My hands shook a little as I typed back. Thanks. I know. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Did you see anything weird with Lily? Her reply came quickly. Yeah, she was way too curious about your plans, asking weird questions, watching Sam's messages. It felt off. I ran my hands through my hair. Off. That's putting it mildly. I started replaying the past week in my head, and little things I had brushed off suddenly didn't make sense. Like last Wednesday, I mentioned to Marcus that I wanted to ask Sam out. Within an hour, Lily suddenly needed help picking a gift for Sam and kept asking questions like, does she like roses or candles? What's her favorite color? I had shrugged it off at the time, thinking she was being helpful, but now it clicked. She knew too much. She knew about the plans I hadn't told anyone else, and there was more. Friday morning, I had casually mentioned that I wanted to wear my blue button-down. Minutes later, Lily barged into my room. Ryan, are you going to wear the blue one or the other shirt? Just asking for opinion purposes? Opinion purposes. Sure, like she wasn't secretly gathering intel. I started to jot down everything, every helpful question, every oddly timed comment from Lily, and it was starting to form a pattern. She was always one step ahead, always involved in some way. The pieces of the puzzle were slowly coming together. The next morning, Marcus came over to help me brainstorm. Okay, he said, pacing my tiny living room. We need a plan. You can't confront her without proof. She'll twist it, lie, and you'll look insane. I know, I said. I hate feeling powerless. She's turning Sam against me without even trying. I can't let this slide. Marcus leaned against the wall. Then let's get creative. You need to observe, record, and catch her in the act. That's the only way she'll believe you're serious. Meanwhile, I couldn't help but notice that my family still thought I was overreacting. Dinner with Karen and David became a minefield. Karen defended Lily instinctively, like every mom does with the perfect child. David just stayed silent, uncomfortable, trying not to escalate anything. It made me realize just how alone I was in this. Well, besides Marcus and Jenna, who were quietly on my side. By the weekend, my frustration boiled over. I needed answers. I needed proof. Lily had to be stopped before she sabotaged anything else. And I had a feeling, deep down, that this was just the start. Her mask of innocence was cracking, but she didn't even know I was starting to see through it. At one point, I caught her sneaking my phone charger from my room while I was showering. She looked up at me with that infuriating smile. Oh, hey, Ryan. Didn't see you there. Just borrowing this. Borrowing. Right. Like a harmless little sister would ever borrow something that could help ruin my social life. I walked away without saying a word, letting her think she had won this little skirmish. But inside, I was plotting. Every detail she left exposed, every slip was going to be part of the puzzle I was slowly assembling. I was done being the victim. Lily had a plan, and I was going to make sure I had one too. One that she couldn't anticipate. Because I was realizing something important. The cracks in her mask weren't just her mistake. They were my opportunity. And when the time came, she was going to learn that Ryan Carter doesn't back down. So at this point, I was officially done playing nice. Lily had sabotaged my date, humiliated me in front of Sam, and managed to charm the rest of the family into thinking I was the paranoid one. I'd been stewing for days, replaying every interaction, every helpful question she'd asked, every suspicious little glance she threw my way. And finally, I decided it was time to catch her in the act. Marcus was, predictably, 100% on board. "Ryan," he said, pacing my living room, "you need a trap. Something subtle, something she'll bite without realizing she's biting. Then we get proof, screenshots, recordings, whatever it takes." I nodded, my brain buzzing. I wasn't just angry anymore, I was methodical. I needed to see the truth with my own eyes. "Okay," Marcus continued. "Let's think like Lily. She's nosy, loves drama, can't resist poking her nose into anything fun. So if we set up something that looks juicy, she'll take the bait." That's when the plan started to form. I'd fake a second date with Sam, but this one would be completely fictitious. We'd let Lily overhear me talking to Marcus about the time, the place, everything. Then we'd sit back and watch. I knew Marcus was right. Lily had a flaw. She couldn't resist interfering. It was her Achilles heel, and I intended to use it. The next day, I started planting hints. "So, Marcus, do you think Sam will like the rooftop spot? I mean, it's kind of far, but the view is amazing." I said this loud enough for Lily, who was hovering in the kitchen, to hear. She smiled, clearly intrigued, and muttered something under her breath that I didn't catch, but I knew she was listening. "Oh, Ryan, the rooftop. That's so cute. I hope she loves it," she said, voice dripping with feigned innocence. I didn't respond. I just let her believe she had a stake in this. Later that evening, Marcus and I sat in my apartment, anxiously refreshing Sam's social media messages. Sure enough, within a few hours, something strange popped up. Sam had received another odd text, supposedly from me, telling her to cancel the date, saying I was busy and that she shouldn't come. I stared at the screen. My stomach dropped. "She's at it again. She can't help herself," I muttered. Marcus leaned over, eyebrows raised. "We've got her. This is gold. That's exactly what we were hoping for. She's so predictable." But the confirmation came from Jenna. She texted me later that night. "Ryan," she was snooping on Sam's social media again, checking messages, looking at posts. "She's obsessed. That was it. That was the proof I needed." Lily had a pattern, and it was undeniable. She couldn't resist sabotaging anything that involved me and Sam. The next morning, armed with my evidence and my resolve, I decided it was time for a direct confrontation. I caught Lily in the living room, sipping coffee, all smiles. My pulse was racing, but I forced myself to keep calm. "Lily," I said, standing in the doorway, "we need to talk. I know you've been interfering with my dates. With Sam, everything. I have proof." Her expression shifted slightly. Not fear, not guilt, but amusement. She tilted her head, that infuriating, too perfect grin plastered across her face. "Proof? Ryan, you're imagining things. You've always been a little paranoid, haven't you?" "No," I said firmly. "I'm not paranoid. I have screenshots. I have witnesses, and I know what you're doing. You can't just pretend this didn't happen." She laughed lightly, like I'd just told a bad joke. "Ryan, I don't know why you're so obsessed with this. Maybe you're just jealous that I have a more exciting social life than you do. I mean, you've got to admit, sometimes you get a little carried away with your fantasy scenarios." I felt my blood boil. This was classic Lily. Deflect, twist, and make herself look like the innocent one while I'm the crazy sibling. But this time, I wasn't going to back down. "I'm not jealous, Lily," I said, stepping closer. "I'm not crazy. You sabotaged my date again, and I'm not letting it slide this time. You think you can get away with it because everyone else is fooled, but I see through you. I know exactly what you're doing." She leaned back in her chair, still smiling, but her eyes had a flicker of something else. Maybe annoyance, maybe the first hint of fear. "Ryan, you're making a huge deal out of nothing. Maybe you should just calm down. You're acting like I'm some villain in your little love story. It's ridiculous." I shook my head. "It's not ridiculous. You don't get to ruin my life and hide behind your smile. I'm going to prove it, Lily. I'm going to show everyone what you've been doing." The tension in the room was thick. For the first time, I could see her composure faltering, even if just slightly. That was my opening. And yet, I knew this wasn't going to be easy. Lily was smart, manipulative, and she knew all the tricks. She thrived in chaos, but I had something she didn't: determination and evidence. Over the next few days, I kept a close eye on her. I documented everything, from the questions she asked about my plans to the suspicious glances she threw when I talked about Sam. Every interaction became part of my growing dossier. By the end of the week, I had everything I needed: a clear pattern of sabotage, Jenna's confirmation, and the knowledge that Lily couldn't resist interfering when she thought she could get away with it. But the confrontation had changed something in me. I wasn't just angry anymore, I was strategic. I was no longer a passive player in this game. Lily had made her move, and I had made mine. The Carter household, of course, remained oblivious to the brewing storm. Karen was still defending Lily, David was still silent, and Lily herself acted as if nothing had happened. But under that calm surface, things were shifting. I could feel it. The cracks in her mask were widening, and it was only a matter of time before the truth came out. And when it did, Lily wouldn't know what hit her. because I was done being the victim. This time, I was the one in control. At this point, I was no longer just annoyed, no longer just hurt. I was obsessed with figuring out why Lily had done all of this. Why would my little sister, who everyone thought was sweet and innocent, sabotage my chance with Sam not once, but twice? Every lie she told, every text she sent, every smile she flashed like nothing was wrong. It all had to mean something. I spent the next few days digging. Not in the creepy stalking sense, but strategically, methodically. Marcus was my partner in crime, my sounding board, and frankly, the only person who could keep me sane while I went full detective mode. "Ryan," Marcus said as we sat in my apartment, laptops open. "Look at this logically. There has to be a reason. People don't do this for fun. Not usually. Think about her behavior, her timing, everything." I nodded, scrolling through Sam's texts and the weird messages that had been sent in my name. "I've been thinking. Lily's actions are personal. This isn't just mischief. She's emotional about this. Obsessed. Maybe jealous, but about what?" Marcus leaned back, rubbing his temples. "Maybe she likes Sam, like more than a friend kind of likes her. Think about it. Why else would she ruin your chances?" The words hit me like a punch in the gut. Lily had a crush on Sam herself, my own sister? I shook my head, trying to process it. That would explain everything. The timing, the obsessive messages, the way she gleefully watched my plans unravel. I started digging for proof, not in a scary way, just in a way that would confirm my suspicion. With Marcus's help, I compiled everything. Screenshots of Sam receiving strange texts supposedly from me. A small audio recording Marcus had helped me make during a casual conversation where Lily admitted something like, "I can't believe Ryan is actually going to get her," Jenna's testimony, which was a godsend. She had seen Lily snooping around Sam's social media multiple times and confirmed that Lily had been actively monitoring everything I did. By the end of the week, I had a folder filled with undeniable evidence. I had concrete proof that Lily's actions weren't random. They weren't playful. They were intentional, driven by something deeper. The opportunity to confront her came during a family gathering. Mom, Karen, had organized one of her elaborate, everyone must come and eat until they burst dinners. Normally, I would have avoided drama at these events, but this time, I had a plan. I'd lay it all out calmly but firmly for everyone to see. The room was bustling. David was quietly watching, trying not to be pulled into any sibling squabbles. Lily was perched on the couch, scrolling through her phone, radiant as always, completely unaware that I had all the pieces ready to fall on her. I took a deep breath and called her out. "Lily, we need to talk. Now." Her head snapped up. "What is it, Ryan? Is this about the date thing again?" she asked, voice light, as if it were a joke. I didn't smile. I didn't joke. I calmly placed my laptop on the coffee table and opened the folder. "I have everything. Screenshots, recordings, witness testimony. I know exactly what you've been doing, interfering with my dates with Sam, and I know why you did it." Her smile faltered slightly, but she tried to recover instantly. "Ryan, I don't know what you're talking about. You've been imagining things." I shook my head. "No, Lily. This is real. Jenna saw you. Marcus helped me record you admitting it. You didn't just sabotage my date. You sabotaged me. All because you like Sam yourself." The room went quiet. Karen gasped. "Lily, is that true?" Lily's mask finally started to crack. Her cheerful demeanor, the perfect little sister act, it all started to slip. She looked around the room, her eyes darting from Karen to David to me. I didn't mean, I couldn't. I hate seeing him get everything. Always getting attention, always getting what he wants, and I thought I could fix it before it got out of hand. The confession hit me like a tidal wave. She wasn't just jealous of Sam, she was jealous of me, of how life seemed to favor me, and she let that jealousy fester until it erupted in sabotage. Karen immediately jumped in, trying to defend her. "Ryan, I'm sure she didn't mean..." I cut her off gently but firmly. "Mom, it doesn't matter what her intention was. The actions are what matter. She manipulated someone I care about. She lied and she ruined my chance. That's what counts. The truth is undeniable now, and it's not fair to sweep it under the rug." David stayed silent, his usual neutral stance, but I could see the concern in his eyes. Even he understood that Lily had gone too far this time. Lily was shaking now, the mask completely gone. I just felt invisible sometimes. You always got praised, you always got attention, and I wanted to matter too, Ryan, but you don't understand." "I do understand," I said quietly. "I get it now. You're insecure, you're jealous, but sabotaging my life, lying, manipulating, that's not okay. You can't just take it out on me because you feel overlooked." She looked like she wanted to shrink into the floor, and for a moment I felt a pang of sympathy, but only for a moment. What she had done was serious. She had violated trust in the worst possible way. "I hope you understand that this isn't just about me being upset," I continued. "This is about boundaries. This is about respect. And right now, you've lost both with me." The room was silent except for her shaky breathing and the faint clink of silverware from the dining table. I could see the tension radiating off her. Karen tried one last time to defend her, but the weight of the evidence, the truth, was undeniable. Lily's face, once flawless with charm, now showed raw emotion. Anger, guilt, frustration, and heartbreak all rolled into one. It was a turning point. I had exposed the motive, the jealousy, the obsession. and now everyone could see it for themselves. Finally, Lily looked at me directly, her eyes wet but defiant. I don't know how to fix this. I just wanted to matter, but I guess I messed up everything. I sighed. You did. But at least now it's out in the open, and maybe this is a chance for you to learn something, Lily. About honesty, about trust, and about how to deal with feelings without hurting people you care about. For the first time in weeks, I felt a strange mix of relief and exhaustion. The truth was revealed. Lily's mask was gone. And while the aftermath was going to be messy, at least I finally knew why. Why she sabotaged my date. Why she twisted things. Why she acted like the angel everyone loved while secretly undermining me. And more importantly, I realized I was ready. Ready to handle the fallout. Ready to reclaim my life. Ready to finally confront what came next. Because now there was no going back. After the confrontation, the house felt different. Like all the air had been sucked out of the room, leaving only tension and quiet whispers. Lily was quiet now, sitting on the couch, staring at the floor, her mask completely gone, replaced by a cocktail of guilt, frustration, and stubborn defensiveness. Karen predictably was fuming, but not at Lily, at me. Ryan, she snapped, standing in the middle of the living room, hands on her hips. I cannot believe you would humiliate your sister like that in front of everyone. Do you have any idea how embarrassing that was for her? I froze, blinked, then said carefully, Mom, this wasn't about embarrassing her. It was about honesty. About the fact that she sabotaged me, lied to Sam, and manipulated everyone. I didn't make this happen. She did. Karen's face turned red. But you could have handled it privately. You didn't have to call her out in front of the family like that. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my temper in check. Mom, if I had handled it privately, she'd have twisted it around like she always does. I needed everyone to see the truth. I can't just sit back and let her keep sabotaging my life. Karen crossed her arms, huffing. Well, I still think it was unnecessary. You could have humiliated yourself and your sister. David, thankfully, finally spoke up. He'd been quiet through most of the chaos, probably trying to avoid taking sides, but now he looked at me with a kind of quiet approval. Karen, Ryan was right. Lily was in the wrong. You can't ignore manipulation just because she's family. It's serious. Karen blinked, obviously not expecting him to side with me, but David didn't waver. He glanced at Lily, then back at me. Sometimes the truth is uncomfortable, but it's better than letting it fester. Even with some parental support, the aftermath wasn't easy. Lily retreated to her room, slamming the door with a force that rattled the windows. I could hear her muffled voice as she muttered angrily to herself, probably rehearsing how she would defend her reputation to anyone who would listen. Honestly, I didn't care. She'd had her moment. Now it was time for her to face reality. The next day, I heard from Jenna. Sam had heard the full story, thanks to Jenna and a few carefully chosen explanations from me, and she wanted to talk. My stomach did that nervous flutter thing, equal parts excitement and dread. When Sam called, I could hear the hesitation in her voice. Hey, Ryan, I just wanted to say I heard everything from Jenna, and I'm really sorry. I didn't know any of it was your fault. I let out a relieved breath. Thanks, Sam. I know it probably looked bad, but yeah, it wasn't me, and I'm glad you know that now. There was a pause on the line, then she said softly, I'd like to see you if that's okay. To, I don't know, clear the air, maybe start over. I smiled, though she couldn't see it. Yeah, I'd like that too. It wasn't a full, perfect, happily ever after moment, but it was a start. Sam had heard the truth, and I'd finally had a chance to explain. Even if our romance was just beginning, or even if it fizzled, it felt like vindication. Meanwhile, Lily's credibility with the rest of the family and friends started to slip. People who had blindly trusted her began asking questions, noticing inconsistencies. She became defensive, more so than usual, and I realized something important. When someone's manipulations are exposed, their influence fades. The power she held over family dynamics and social perception weakened, and it was strangely satisfying to watch. I met up with Marcus later that evening at our favorite coffee spot, both of us laughing nervously about how insane the past few weeks had been. Man, he said, shaking his head, I don't think I've ever seen someone so dramatic and destructive while still being your little sister. I chuckled, sipping my coffee. Yeah, betrayal cuts differently when it's family, but I'm glad I didn't let it slide. I couldn't. Marcus nodded, a small smile on his face. Exactly. You stood your ground. That's what matters. She learned her lesson, or at least she got exposed. I stared out the window, thinking about everything that had happened. The lies, the sabotage, the family drama. It was exhausting. But I realized something important. I couldn't let Lily's actions define me. I couldn't let her jealousy or manipulation dictate my life or my happiness. Moving forward, I promised myself I'd be smarter, more cautious, and more assertive. I'd protect my boundaries, and I'd make sure that anyone who tried to interfere in my life, family or otherwise, knew that I wasn't someone to mess with. As I hung up with Marcus and headed back home, I felt lighter, stronger. The storm had passed, and while the wreckage of family dynamics still lingered, I finally felt in control of my own story. I smiled, thinking about Sam, about the truth being out, and about the fact that I'd finally stood up for myself. Life wasn't perfect, nothing ever is. But for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was moving forward. And that, I realized, was all that mattered.